Hello, everyone. How is everybody? It's Tammy. I'm back. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear from you and see you guys again. It's been a long time. Um, so we're going to try to do this. You know me, Tammy, I got technical problems. Joya. Hopefully, I don't. Hi, Wendy. How you doing, girl? Hope you're okay. I hope everybody's safe. So what's been going on? Tell me a little bit about what's going on with you guys. Um, as you guys all know, I finally, I got my master's degree in psychology and a minor in applied behavior analysis. Yes, I did. I can't believe I did it. I'm so happy. I can do so many things now. You just don't know. In the last couple of days, I found out what I could do. Wendy, just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, okay? Because I don't know what's going on. Uh, so can you hear me, Wendy? Girl? Okay, good. And who is this? Uh, okay, that's right. I'm answering myself and I'm asking questions. Okay, good. So, thank you. Thank you, Anna. I really appreciate it. It was hard. It was really hard. And, being an old gal, I'm not a 22-year-old going to school. Loud and clear. Okay, good. So, when I couldn't do my shows, I was really upset. A lot of things happened in my life in the last year, as I'm sure it did in most people's lives. Um, and it was major changes for me. So it was difficult for me to come on and do the shows. And I moved, and then I couldn't get this set up right. The background, get it? See the background? Cool, huh? It took me all day to figure it out in about 4 months. Okay. So anyway, um, I I'm so excited. I just found out that there's an organization it's called WPS, and they offer testing instruments. A lot of the testing instruments that you guys get done in your public schools, like the Castle, um, for one of them. And I just found out I was just approved because I have a master's. See, prior to getting my degree, um, you can't just purchase these testing instruments. Now, the reason why these instruments are important, one, now when the school districts say they did a test, and like I kind of don't believe them that they did it right. So now I could just go and buy it. And then I can compare it to what they didn't do. So a lot of times, like one is it's called the Castle, and it's used as the something of spoken language. I forgot what it is, and it's an assessment of spoken language. I forgot what the C stands for. But anyway, a lot of times, children with autism, they have difficulty with pragmatics of language, and that's with the receptive. I can't say this word, but it's the back and forth language. Okay, or if you ask them a question about what they're talking about, they don't know how to answer that, or it's practical language. They don't have a grasp of it, and so we need to know as parents and advocates and teachers exactly where our kid stands with that. So a lot of times our kids with autism will fall way below because that's part of their disability. That's really what it's based on, is language. So when the school districts refuse to do that piece, or they do it in such a way where it's just a little piece and it's not making any sense, usually it's because it doesn't make sense. They left out key components to that assessment, which they're not supposed to do. If they say they did that particular test, then they're supposed to do the whole thing. So now I can buy it. And recently I bought a whole bunch of things. So the other day I bought the VB map, which is horrendous. Because I'm going to need a degree just to figure out how to do that. It's going to be a slow process for me regarding the VB map. So I'm going to learn how to do it. And all of the assessments that I do for the kids will be online. So all of them come with a component that allows the assessor to conduct the assessment online. It's really, really cool. You think it can't be done, but it can. It can be done, and it's really cool. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. I also purchased the AFLs. Okay, the AFLs. Now this has like 6 books. Okay, it has community, it has daily living, it has. Well, let me just pull it out real quick. Here they are. I bought the whole set because I'm greedy. So here's the basic living skills one. Here's the home skills one. Okay. Here's the school skills one. That's another book, the same thing. Oh, wait, there's 3 or 4 more. Here's independent living skills. Okay. I'm telling you guys this for a reason. All right. This is see-through because of my green screen. This one is, community participation. Okay. So it's community participation. This is green, so that's why it's transparent, because I have a green screen. Hi, Amanda. Thank you very much. I'm so happy. I can't see straight. And here's the vocational skills one. So let me tell you why this is important. As of late, you guys have been asking a lot of questions about transitional assessments. So I filed several complaints against several different schools. And the reason I filed them is because they don't want to do the transitional assessment in accordance with the regs. So tonight we're going to talk about what a transitional assessment is. And I want you guys to ask me questions about it because it's really, it's intense. Because, okay, according to the law, when your kid turns 14 in some states and 16 in some other states, okay, I got to talk about the author of the APLs. Got to talk with the good girl. Partington, you talked to Wendy? Shoot, you did good, girl. I'm gonna see if I can take one of the webinars to learn how to do the ABLES. I have the ABLES too. So I have the ABLES, the AFLs. I have what's the other? I just had it. I have the ABLES, the AFLs, the VB map. Hi Tammy, hi Kimberly. And I'm about to buy the castle. What else do I have? Oh, yeah. Here's the VB map. Yeah, I like to buy books, okay? Because I'm getting ready to hurt some people, okay? Because I'm tired of them bothering you guys. So anyway, the school district thinks that when they do assessments on your kid, they can just say, well, yeah, we did all of that. I know. It's so great to be here. You guys have no idea how happy I am. I just want to tell you, I am so thrilled. I finally got my attic the way I needed it to be just so I could do this. So the background doesn't look like a hot mess. And you guys get to see the living room because that ain't mine. But anyway, I can't play the piano, girls. But anyway, so I'm really happy to be here. So just to tell you guys that. But back to the transition. So schools think that if they do all of the assessments, like the core evaluations, that they can just say, well, we did it. We know what their levels are and yada, yada, yada. And we know where they are in this, that, and the other thing. But they don't. They know where the kid is academically, okay? But for instance, none of their testing tells us, for instance, what their preferences are, what their interests are. What do they want to do when they leave school? Apparently, a lot of these school districts think that's not important. Well, the government says otherwise. The government says it's very important because what the goal is for every child, not just children with disabilities, the goal of educating children is to have them be as independent as they possibly can given their particular circumstances. That's what transitional assessments are all about. Now, you can get a transitional assessment before your kid is 14. You can get it when your kid is 3. You can get it when your kid is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up, okay? Because at different ages, your kid should be able to do certain things, okay? Your kid at the age of 10, to some degree, should be able to make a bed. You should be able to tell your kid, go make your bed. right? Kids with disabilities aren't built that way. You can't tell a lot of kids with disabilities, go make your bed. They'll look at you like you're crazy. They'll throw the blanket on the bed, call it made. They know there's no shaking of a sheet. There's no tucking of a sheet. There's no putting the top sheet on top of the bed. Top sheet's at the bottom of the bed. Okay? These kids don't know how to do this unless we teach them. Now, a lot of kids need what's called, to help them learn how to do it, they need step-by-step instructions. And it's called task analysis. That's what I learned when I was in school. Yeah. Okay, just for the record, my degree is a major in psychology and a minor in applied behavioral analysis. All of my ABA courses in school for my master's degree was approved by the board, by the Behavior Analysis Certification Board, which means I have met the book part of ABA, of becoming a BCBA. I've met that criteria. Now, from now, I go and I'm supposed to work with kids. I'm supposed to go work in a clinic, and I'm supposed to have a supervisor oversee me and all of that stuff. I'm not doing none of that. Because I'm old and I'm better way over here looking at what everybody else is doing with the kids. And they tell everybody what they can't do with the kids. Okay, that's wrong, this is right, and all that stuff. Okay, so that's what I do. So because I have that formal background now, I can actually go in and ask I asked hard questions before. They ain't seen nothing yet. It's going to get real difficult for a whole lot of BCBAs, because I've had it up to here with BCBAs that work in the public school system or work for a private school and think they can throw their code of ethics out the window. That's the other book I have. This one. This is for BCBAs. Okay? In the back of the book is what you call the code of ethics. Okay? What they must do, no matter where the hell they work. It doesn't matter. They can't enter into a contract with the public school system or a private school and acknowledge that they're not going to implement the BACB's regulations. If they do that, that's okay. They better not meet me, because now we're going to have a problem. Okay, we're going to have a problem, because now I know what they were supposed to do. They're supposed to provide your kid with effective treatment. That's a BCBA, a board certified behavior analyst. Okay, that's what they're supposed to do. They can't just write up stuff and say we don't have to get your consent. They most certainly do. They do. They have to get your consent to modify your kid's behavior plan. They have to get consent to collect data. And when you ask for that stuff, they're supposed to hand it over immediately. What I'm finding out while I was in school, trying to figure out what I'm doing, I'm working with a bunch of ding-dong BCBAs that aren't doing anything they're supposed to do. To the point I had to ask my professor. She was like, Timmy, it doesn't matter where they work. They have to implement the code of ethics, or they can lose their certification. At the worst, the very least, they're going to get reprimanded. Oh, they're going to get reprimanded, all right. There's a whole lot of shenanigans going on. Speaking of shenanigans. So, one of my parents sent me this, sent me this gorgeous cup. See, I'm going to put it real close. See what it says? Leanne and Tammy, okay? Now, I'm going to turn it around. This is what it says on the back. You're the she to my nanigans. Isn't that adorable? I just got it today. I'm so happy. Thank you, Leanne. I love it. I absolutely love it. So anyway, the she to my nanigans. I love it. So anyway, I know I'm nuts. Are you guys listening to me or just put me on pause or something? So anyway, transitional assessments can be done anytime. And it's to evaluate what your kids' preferences are what your kid can do as far as daily living skills. Daily living skills is not going to school every day and carrying a tray in the cafeteria. That's part of it. What about loading a dishwasher? What about washing a dish? Putting soap on a sponge and washing. That's daily living skills. Then when the kids get older, how about, can they write a check? Do they know how to use an ATM card? Do they have a bank account? Do they have a job? If they don't have any of this, why not? Why don't they? In most states, kids that turn 14, they can get a work permit. Why is that not in some kids' IEPs? I don't understand. I know, isn't that cute, Cup, Wendy? So I get a little pissy. Sorry, I know I'm not supposed to be like that. You know, now I have a degree. I ain't changed a bit. I'm telling you guys something right now. It doesn't mean that much to me. I only went to school to get that stuff because I wanted to prove to myself that I was right about everything I ever said. And it was confirmed. I was right. That's why I got good grades, because I was right all the time. Yeah. Michelle, hey. Hi, Michelle. Girl, what's going on? I can't wait to talk to you. But anyway, so they lie. What's new? Ooh, that's a shocker. They lie. So when they tell you they did their transitional, for instance, I was madder than a pit bull today because one of my clients, the school district, said they did the transitional assessment. It was part of the VB map. Like I said, I bought the VB map. Okay. So I looked up transition. This kid is like 20. He can't do anything independently. Can't do anything. He can't make a bed. He can't make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. He's 20. He's been in a private school for years and years and years and years with 4 BCBAs. I wrote a task analysis for him. The BCBA said they're not doing it. They're going to have a problem. They're all going to have a problem. Because what I found out about the VB map, what they were supposed to do, they didn't. They didn't even come close. And I know for damn Skippy, the scores that he got on the little bit of transition that the VB map has, he didn't do really well at all. I know he didn't. And if he did, they fudged the scores. Because there's no way. I know this kid. I've known him since he was, I think, 12. He's 20. So that's why I buy these books. Because when they say this stuff, they don't expect us to go buy the books. They don't expect someone like me to buy the books. I'm an advocate. What am I doing buying these books for? But see, if you're a good advocate, you want to know everything. Everything that has to do with these kids. Everything that has to do with these kids is who's providing the service. Do you know that a BCBA is bound by their code of ethics that they must provide a child with effective treatment? That means they have to do everything they're supposed to do. Effective means if you have a kid and you wrote a behavior modification plan, and this kid has exhibited the same behavior for the last 4 years under your care and guidance, and he hasn't changed a lick, you're going to be in trouble. First, you got to deal with me because I got a big mouth. It's another thing that didn't change, guys. Still got a big mouth. I'm trying real hard to tone it down, but, I get mad. I get mad. I don't know what to say. I get mad. I know what to say, and then I just blurt it out, and I just keep it real. And a lot of people don't like to keep it real because, you got to be politically correct. I just had to tell a SPED director, she didn't like what I was saying. So in Massachusetts, they're still doing Zoom hearings. And so this silly school district and their attorney decided that they were going to try to force me to send them the hard copy of priority mail of the complaint that I filed. But get this. All I had to do was email it to the Bureau of Special Education Appeals. But I got to send you a hard copy. I said, yeah, wait. You wait for that, okay? You're not getting it. I can't tell you how many times I told her, you're not getting it. Finally, I said, so let me get this straight. You're a law firm, I told the attorney. You're a law firm. and you can't open this? You can't open this PDF file. The Bureau of Special Education Appeals can open it. The parent can open it. I can open it. But you're a large law firm in Massachusetts. You guys don't own Adobe? Really? And then I told the school, and I said, and you, do you know how much money you have paid for this kid to go to this school? And what you're telling me is you guys can't afford Adobe? Really? Tell you what, I'm not sending it. You got it. Consider yourself served. That's what I told them. Consider yourself served. Now, in the event you decide that you think you got the BSEA in your back pocket, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Under Massachusetts General Law 30A, if this hearing officer decides in her infinite wisdom to dismiss my case because I'm refusing to send this thing hard copy when they accepted it via email, and I have proof that you people have sent this parent and I numerous PDF files dating back years, I will drag the BSEA into court and get an enforcement order on that hearing officer. Do you hear me? You do you. I'm going to do me. That's what I told her. Then the SPED director got mad, and she told the parent, because now she's going to deal with the parent, as if the parent's not talking to me every day. Hello. She told the parent to tell me that she didn't like my behavior. She didn't like my tone or whatever it was. So I told the parent to tell the SPED director, I don't work for you. Period. Then I went on as if that mattered. You know what they did? Let me tell you what they did. They opened that damn email, they read it, and they responded to my hearing request. That's what they did. And the only way they could respond in the manner in which they did was to open it. Because I don't write anything on the front pages of my complaint. Everything is attached. It says see attached, see attached, see attached. So you literally have to open up the file. So good. But this is the shenanigans that's going on out there. Okay? I know, I see what's going on. It's been the most frustrating couple of years, for me, because I was limited by my situation. And I just couldn't wait to get out of it so that I could just jump in both feet. And now I'm here. And now I'm already starting stuff. It did take me long to start stuff. It just did. So when the school district talks about transition is everything. Transition is not just what they decide it is. Transition is in the law. If you look in Massachusetts and you type in Massachusetts Department of Education, and then you type in transition services, you will not believe the documentation and the information you would find on what transition means in Massachusetts. It's huge. In fact, the federal government put something out. It's called Indicator 13. And when a kid, I believe, is 18 years old, every state has this, okay? They have to comply with Indicator 13 at the age of, I believe, 18. I'll double check. But anyway. Hi, Paula. Indicator 13 is all about how the state is monitoring the school district to make sure they're doing the transitional assessments right. Yeah, they're not. And it's going to be fun. Because apparently you guys all want to know about transition. Okay, transition is everything you can possibly think of about being independent. From a little kid all the way up into adulthood. So it's about school. It's about school routines. It's about following rules. It's all about that. Okay? And you can get that from like behavior checklists and things like that. Observations, functional behavioral assessments. You can get that information. However, there are other things that there's case law on. There's case law. Okay? Oh, that's the other book I bought. I got a book on transition. You know, one of my books. One of these. This is the updated one, by the way. Okay, look. I don't understand why it's doing this. Oh, the top is green. So anyway, this book, this series of books that I buy all the time, there's one on transition. And I'm telling you something else. It was filled with stuff. It was filled with case law. It was filled with the federal regulations. It was filled with all of the information that the judges have come down and said how the school district denied FAPE because they didn't consider the kid's preferences or the child's interests or the circumstances that the child is under at the time. Okay. And because they didn't do it, and how they address it is in the IEP. You see, you actually have to have a transition meeting. After they do a transitional assessment, you have to have a meeting. It's called transitional planning meeting, a transitional planning meeting. Okay. And what they're supposed to do is to determine whether, based on the transitional assessment, whether the findings demonstrate that the kid needs additional supports and services so that he can access whatever they need for vocation, higher education, daily living skills, independent living skills, all of that. Okay. I'm going to beat her. Hold on just a minute. You know I'm doing my show, right, girl? I'm online. I'm talking to you while I'm on my show. Yes. No. Goodbye. Get on my show. Bye. Bye. So, now I forgot what I was. I'm going to beat her up. So when they don't, you're supposed to develop goals and objectives. Okay. So once the team, and you are a part of that team, let's say the team determines, oh, he doesn't need it. How can you not need it? He doesn't know how to make a bed. They're going to say, well, that's not our job to teach him how. Yes, it is your job because you can provide services for this kid at home. And the law says it is. It's a functional skill. It's a daily living skill. How about crossing the street? Oh my God. So this dumb school district, Massachusetts again. So they allegedly created a transitional plan, but they didn't do assessment. They lied. What they did is in Massachusetts, school districts are using this thing called the transitional planning form, which just replicates the IEP goals and objectives. That's not a transitional assessment, but they've been lying for years. And apparently the Department of Education is good with that. Well, they're about to get smacked down because that is not under any circumstances a transitional assessment, and they know it. But see, that's how Massachusetts is going to get in trouble because I'm going to file against them. And right now I got about 4 cases. And if they keep messing with me, I'm going to file for a class action lawsuit. Then they're going to be in big trouble. Now what? And then I'm going to splash it all over the place. But anyway, so when they create a program for your kid, and this kid is like 18 years old. So they created, allegedly, they have a program for her. Oh, okay, good. She's in the public school. Okay. Nothing's in the IEP. Those wombats took this kid off school grounds without the parents' knowledge. There's no IEP goal or objective. Okay, none. Yes, exactly, Michelle. There's no IEP goal or objective that talks about taking her off school grounds to go to the mall. To do what exactly? They put her on a bus with another kid in the middle of the day with a bus driver to a predetermined destination. And get this, the teacher was driving behind the bus. It's amazing that people in our country would pay the amount of money that I had to pay to get my degrees and be that stupid. She was driving behind the bus. So as of today, we don't know why that kid went to the mall. Well, it gets better. So the kid has a cell phone. Remember, daily living skills. Safety skills is one of them. Community skills is another one. They put this kid on a bus. The other kid had a disability too, an intellectual disability. Do you know? The kid does not know how to use her cell phone. She knows how to use it to call her mother. Wait for this. This idiot teacher took this kid off school grounds. She's supposed to be the vocational person. She took this kid off school grounds without the parents' knowledge or permission. There's nothing in the IEP goal that talks to this. How many minutes, what they're going to do? Nothing. She took the kid off school grounds. Now, so nobody knows these kids are off school grounds. The parents don't know, clearly. So if something were to happen to these kids, that teacher was going to be sued to the 10th power. She had no business taking it. She had nobody's permission to do this. She didn't have the kid's permission. Mother has guardianship. The kid's 18. So if this kid got lost in the mall, because if the crazy teacher was driving behind the bus, then what was she doing when they got into the mall? Exactly what? What was she going to do? Walk behind him in the mall at the same time? Well, the two girls were going to the same place at the same time. They were going to buy the same thing. How easy is that? So they're not going to go like this in two different directions. You got one teacher. Which one is she going to follow? What if my client got lost? She's never been to this mall. As of today, we don't know how many times she's been to the mall. We don't know how this teacher knows she knows her way around the mall. This is transitional services for community. There's nothing in the IEP that says any of this. And this twit thinks what she did was okay. Get this. The kid knows how to dial her mother's phone number. So let's say she got lost. She calls her mom. She has enough sense to call her mother. And her mother says, honey, where are you? Give me the address. The kid can't give the address, can she? You know why? Those idiots at that school never told the kid. Never put it in her phone. Never showed her how to use maps on her phone. Never asked the kid, do you know where you are? These are the things that they do that could cause somebody to be in danger, could cause somebody to get kidnapped. You know, the people in the mall that look for girls that look like them, that appear to be intellectually delayed, challenged. They look for them. And this stupid, idiotic teacher who doesn't have the common sense of a tsetse fly, she wouldn't do that with her damn kid. See, this is me getting mad. I can't stand myself. I get so mad. It's like it's my kid and it happened just now. I get so mad. But this is what they want you to do. They want you to think that it's okay. They can do whatever they want with your kid. I could tell you another story too about another kid. Another school, that's not even transition, but the things you guys know, the things that they do, they think just because they're at school, they can do whatever they want. Listen to me very carefully. I want all of you people to pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. They can't do none of that crap. You understand? That's not their kid. They have to have your permission if they want to take your kid across the street for an ice cream cone. They have to ask you if you could do that. Because if something happens to that kid, it's like if you work for a company, okay? And while on the company time, you go get lunch down the street. On the way there, you get into an accident. You're in company time. Guess what you can do? Sue the company. You got hurt while you were on the job. It's the same thing that could happen to that kid and that teacher. The only way they can do stuff like that is with your consent. And if you give them consent without them telling you what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and how are they going to make sure your kid is safe, I'm coming to wherever you are and I'm beating you up. You know better than that. Don't think just because they're teachers and they work for the public school system that they have this, halo around them or something. Oh, we are the ones. No, they're not. They don't care shit about their kid. They don't care. I don't care what anybody says. They don't. And I have too much proof to prove it. I went back to school to prove everything that I've been telling you I was right. Everything. Because they lie all the time. They lie because they're lazy. Okay? They want to have all of that power. You guys have to start taking it back. Hey, Tammy, it's Kareen in California. Awesome. It's that you. You can't. When these people tell you anything, when you find out your kid is on a bus somewhere and you didn't know about it, and it's a field trip. This was a field trip. She has to get permission. She can't change it into, oh, it was a transitional activity. Something happens to my kid, I'm holding you responsible. Do you understand? You're going to jail. Period. You're going to jail. I'm going to have you arrested. Do you understand? I'm going to have you arrested. I'm going to put you on the front page of the paper. I'm going to do a lot of things to you. Lots and lots and lots. Hey, guys, you know what I'm doing to my hair? See how gray I am? I'm doing it on purpose. I'm doing a new thing. I'm going gray. I'm letting it go. I want to see how gray I can get. I want to see what it looks like. That's why you see it all, and I'm proud. That's why it's all pulled back. But it's good. I just noticed my ADD. I just noticed it. I'm turning my head. I'm like, oh, wow, it's a lot. But when I pull my hair down, you can't even see it. It's only underneath right now. I want it to be on top. But anyway, so yeah, I told you guys this before. I don't care what those people say. You tell them if they take your kid off school grounds, and something happens to your kid, you're suing the school, and you're going to sue them personally because they did not have consent, and that's violation. It's misconduct, and you're putting my kid in danger. My kid has a disability. I understand why my kid does stuff. What I don't understand is, what the hell is your problem as a teacher? I don't understand. Why are you this stupid? Nothing's changed. I came back and I'm still acting the same way. I can't help it. I can't help it. But what we have to do, the reason why I do this, guys, is because we have to be sure that we question everything. The one cool thing about our country right now, it's teetering. But right now, we still have the rule of law. Right now, in this country, you can ask questions and they're not going to do anything to you. The only thing they can do is not answer you. You're not going to get murdered or anything like that, like those other countries. Right now, the way things are, I don't know. But I have hope that with that all of this will come to pass. It will all be fixed sometime later. Right now, we're good. Okay? So, when you do a transitional assessment, it's everything. Okay? It's, can your kid at the age of 12, can your kid set a table? Can your kid clean off the table? Can your kid take all the dishes and put the dishes in the sink? Just that. Not wash them, just put them in the sink. Clear the table. All of it. Without breaking every dish there is. Because I know a few kids, they'll clear it all right. Done. But can they sweep a floor? Can they sweep the floor? Okay. And these are some of the skills that can be done in the public school system. You got a cafeteria, there's dishes. You got a floor, you got a broom. You need to see, you got a dishwasher, you could bring them down to the cafeteria. It's like they're brain dead, these teachers. They're brain dead, these sped directors. And it's like they can't think out of their silly, stupid, self-imposed box that has tape all over it. So they can't get out. And they put the tape on. Because they're crazy. They're all crazy. I don't know what to do. I can't believe they're crazy. And the bad part is when I was in school, like one time, one of my classmates, I think it was our last class, and this guy said, we all had to do an implementation plan. This guy says, it was so bad. This guy says that he was going to write an implementation plan and he was going to separate the kid from the general population. I was like, what? You're going to do what, dude? Okay, first of all, you can't do that. Just because you wrote an implementation plan. Okay, just because you did an FBA, and so you think you could just take the kid out of the classroom now because he has behaviors? Yeah, so I went through the riot act with them, and I said, if you did that, that would be a violation of the students' rights. Just because the kid has behaviors doesn't mean that you take the kid out of the classroom. And please tell me, you guys, that this never happened to you, okay? Because I know it happens, because I've taken kids and went after schools for doing this. So in order to get on an IEP, you can't have just a behavior. You have to have a disability. You have to have, a learning disability. You have to have autism. You have to have something under the law that says you have a disability. Okay? something to justify putting you on an IEP, that you need specially designed instruction. And just because your kid is acting out in school, that's not enough. Now, if your kid is acting out in school though, okay, and your kid is he's also failing at the same time, now, and that's what I told the guy, now you could put the kid on an IEP. However, contrary to popular belief with BCBAs, yeah, you guys are good, but a functional behavioral assessment is not justification. It's not enough testing. A functional behavioral assessment does not evaluate in all areas of suspected disability. So an FBA can't evaluate speech. It can evaluate, to a certain degree it can, but not like a speech and language eval. It can't do OT-PT, okay? It can make recommendations for those things, okay? And it definitely can't do like the WISC-5. It's usually not part of an FBA, especially done by a BCBA. That's not their field. They can't step out of their field, okay? They have to stay within the confines of their training, okay? Speech and language is not their training per se, okay? Not like a speech and language pathologist, okay? They work with speech and language pathologists, but their field is in communication and it's in verbal behavior, but it's not speech and language, like to teach a child how to say a word or to help a child put a sentence together. That's not what an FBA does. And that's not what a BCBA does either. Okay. So they need to stay in their own lane. For transition, you really need an FBA to be done. Okay. Because you need to find out what the kid can and cannot do. And when you do the transitional assessment and you find out that the kid, like the AFLs, okay, the AFLs is all of those things I told you about before. If the kid can't do these things, like, let me just tell you what some of them had in here. Okay, let's do home skills. Okay, so here's one of the things the assessment will ask. So it's one of the chapters. This is what's in. This is for home skills. Okay, so if I were to give this test, okay, this is what it would contain: meals at home, dishes, clothing and laundry, housekeeping and chores, household mechanics, leisure, kitchen, cooking, and cooking, period. Okay? That's what your transitional assessment has to measure. Because you need to find out if your kid can do any of these things. And just because some teacher observed it, yeah, that's not enough. Not enough. Okay? Because see, now I'm going to get it, the teacher, and I'm going to say, oh, okay. So can the student identify foods that you eat with utensils? Can your kid do that? So it says the learner will identify finger food versus non-finger foods. Can your kid do that? Can your kid tell you that you can eat a French fry with your fingers, but you got to eat spaghetti with a fork? Does your kid know that? Okay. Or how about this one? Uses spoons for solids. So now you say, the task is, learner will scoop both small food items and soft and sticky foods and deliver to mouth using the spoon. Can your kid do that? Now here's the numbers: 0, 1, and 2. This is the criteria. To get a 2, which is the top grade for this question, the kid has to scoop small food items and soft and sticky food items and delivers it to the mouth. So the kid can do that. So if I say to your kid, I tell the mother, put some ice cream in a bowl. Put the spoon and put the bowl. We're going to tell them, now I need you to eat that. Show me how you eat that. Okay? If he gets it and he puts it in and he puts it in his mouth, he gets a 2. But if he doesn't, now he could do it, scoop soft and sticky foods and delivers to mouth, but has difficulty scooping and delivering small food items to the mouth. They're just subtle differences in the questions. and in the criteria that has to be met to demonstrate if your kid can and cannot do it. Okay. So if he can't do it at all, gets a 0. If he can do it, but he just has some difficulty getting it on the spoon, that could be because of his age. Okay. That could be because he has problems with his hands, dexterity and OT stuff going on. But that's good because this will then, if your kid has an OT eval, then this will support what the OT found. If they did an OT eval. See, and then this is called rule out. That's what you want to do. You want to rule out some stuff. Okay. So if your kid can do this, he gets a 2. We move on. Okay. So it talks about using a fork. Cuts with a fork. Okay. So cuts soft food items with the side of a fork. That's a 2. A 1, cuts food items when provided with only imitative or verbal prompts. So you have to tell him to cut it with a fork. And then he knows what to do. But that's a 1. Again, if you can't do it at all, 0. We move on. Okay? These are the types of questions that need to be answered as part of an assessment. So when I go to a meeting and I ask these questions of these wombats who are allegedly the vocational people, what does that mean exactly, vocational? Does that mean when the kid's out at work, he doesn't eat? He doesn't need to know this? And I mean, that's just food. So let's just talk about, what's the other ones? Wait a minute. So the basic skills ones talks about, like I said, housekeeping and chores. Does the kid, okay. Do you know how many kids that I'm representing right now that are over the age of 18, between 16 and 18, and don't know how to load a dishwasher? They don't know how. And not for nothing, I thought my kid didn't know either. He would spend the summers with his dad. When he was 16 years old, his father showed him how to use the washing machine. My son had a lot of rules when he was 16. My son had ADD. So my son had a lot of rules that he wanted me to do when I washed his clothes. And I looked at him like he was crazy. I said, you take that to your father and go tell your father all that crap. His father showed him how to use the washing machine and dryer, which, dummy, I didn't. So when he came back home, he told me he knows how. Don't wash my clothes, Ma. Why? He said, because you're washing them wrong. Okay, good. But his father taught him how to wash the clothes. So it was my fault. My kid didn't know how to use the washing machine and dryer. That was my fault. But if I taught him how to do it and he had a problem, that's a whole nother issue. Where was that problem? Is it because he doesn't know what a washing machine and dryer does? That he doesn't know how to put the clothes in? Does he know how to separate colors? I mean, that's all part of washing the clothes. That's just home skills. Okay? Wait. Clothing and laundry. Identifies clean from dirty clothes. My son just would throw all the clothes. I told the cleaner to throw all the clothes in the basket because he didn't want to clean. You need to identify the dirty from. One thing they need to learn how to do that is because if your kid can get dressed by themselves, are they putting on clean underwear or dirty underwear? Okay. Do they know how to put the clothes away? Do they know that the underwear, all the clothes don't go in one drawer? I know kids that actually do that. They put all the clothes in one drawer. Okay. So that's what the AFLS does. And this is something that can be done via Zoom. Okay. All you have to do, like, I'm doing one Monday for one of my clients because the stupid school said they did it. They lied. And then I have another client that they actually did, and I ran the numbers. And the cool thing about these assessments, what these ding-dongs don't know, that I know, is that once I do this stuff, so AFLS, the assessment for functional living skills, the developer has a program where you pay a certain amount of money and, like, okay, see, each one of these books belongs to a kid. See, I don't know if you could see it. See what it says right there? So each one of these books, your kid has their name on it. So for instance, they said they did the AFLS on my client. So I want the books. I want a copy of the books. All the books they used. Because a kid that's 20 years old, they needed all of these books run. So when you go, what you do is you pay a certain amount of money a month. I mean, for a one-time fee for a year. And then the assessor has access to that. They go and put all the scores in. And then after the assessment's done, you, for anything that there seems to be a problem with, you create a program for the kid so that they can improve on that skill and hopefully they can master it. So then when you go back and you do the test again, because you can do it 4 times in 1 year, and every time you go back, you're supposed to see an improvement. Now, what's cool about this is, what they never give us, or they do sometimes, they give us this, but we don't know how they got these scores. Okay, see, what's cool about this is, you see that? That's the grid. So these are all the answers for every section in this book. These are the little things, and it's 3 or 4 boxes depending on the number of questions, or 2. And then every time you do the assessment, you color this in. You color the next block over. So first you start off on the furthest left side. Then the next time you do the test, you fill in, you get all the scores, and you fill it in over here. Okay. So every time the kid does it, the kid should be doing better. Okay. And as long as the person that's doing it is honest, then you'll get honest answers. So it depends on what that person knows about your kid. That's why you shouldn't have somebody who knows your kid actually do the assessment. It should be somebody that doesn't know your kid, because their perception of your kid could interfere. It's biased, and they don't mean to be. Sometimes they do, because they're the school district. So you want to make sure that they that it's an honest it's an accurate reflection of what your kid can and cannot do. And it's real easy to figure out whether they lied or not, because all you gotta do is give it some time. And then you tell your kid to go make your bed, and your kid looks at you like you have 14 heads. Now, a lot of times our kids look at us like that anyway, because they're bad and they don't want to do it. But push comes to shove, you tell your kid to go do it, your kid will do it. Your kid will make the bed. Okay, your kid will pick up their toys. Now, a lot of times when you tell your kid certain things, you have to tell them in steps, and then you have to go back and check and see if that step was done. When that step is done, you give them another step. Okay, and there are steps within the steps. Okay, because if you tell your kid to put your clothes away, okay, now you have to tell them, your pants go in the pants drawer, your underwear go in the underwear drawer. So there's a step within a step, and that's called a task analysis. You break it down. You show them how to fold the clothes. Does your kid know how to fold clothes? This is all about transition, people. This is to help your kid be as independent as your kid can possibly be, given your kid's particular circumstances. Okay? We want our kids to be able to protect themselves when they're out in the community, when they're getting a job. Here's one thing, like if your kid turns 14, the school district says, oh yeah, we did a transitional assessment. Oh, really? So did you tell where's the part about a work permit? Kid wants to go to work. Did you ask the kid that? Of course not. Why would they do that? Now it becomes part of the IEP. If a kid can get a work permit, the kid wants a job at 14, which is a wonderful thing for any kid, but especially for a kid with a disability. Okay? Usually their self-esteem is in the toilet to begin with. Let's give them some skills that they can be proud of. Okay? That they can earn money. And a lot of kids with disabilities can work at 14. I know a few right now. But what the schools don't do is they don't make getting that work permit as part of the IEP, because they never did the transitional assessment. And you can ask for a transitional assessment anytime you want. Your kid doesn't have to be 16. In Massachusetts, if your kid turns 14, they have to do it. I think Pennsylvania is the same thing, and I think New York, I'm not sure. I can't remember. But if you want it, so let's say they agreed. The team agreed that would be part of the transitional assessment. And so when they did the transitional assessment, they found that the kid wanted to do hi, Christina. I was just thinking about you. How's things going, girl? So when they do the transitional assessment, part of it is vocational. Okay? It has to include vocational, because when a kid turns 14, they can work. Now, there's lots of kids that can't. Okay? But they can do other things. But let's just say for the kids that want to go to work, okay, There's a whole bunch of things they have to learn how to do as part of vocation. They have to know how to get transportation. They have to know that transportation is available. Now we have this wonderful thing called Uber and Lyft. It's on your phone. I mean, how hard is that? But these stupid schools are thinking like this is the 1950s, and we have absolutely no technology whatsoever. A lot of these kids with disabilities know more than we think they know. Because if I ask a kid, how are you going to get to work? Oh, it's going. Had FBA meeting done today to review Dr. Ivory's report. Okay, all right, cool. I hope it went well. They're dumb. But that's good. Is that Dr. Ivy? Oh, Dr. Ivy did it? It's going. Had FBA meeting. Did you have FBA meeting with the doctor or with the school? So the team is supposed to have a transition planning meeting. Oh, you had it with Dr. Ivy. Yes. Right? Which one are you yesing me on? That school or Dr. Ivy? Both. Did Dr. Ivy come through for you? Like I hope she did. So when you have this transition meeting, you have to be a part of it. And so does your kid. Okay, your kid has to be a part of this. When your kid turns 14, they're mandated under federal law to invite your kid to the team meeting, especially if it's transition. Okay? Because they have to ask your kid some questions. They need to find out what your kid wants to do when your kid grows up. When he grows up, goes to school. They usually start at 14. I mean, I don't know. When I was in school, I hit 9th grade. Now we're talking all kind of stuff. What do I want to do? What are my courses? What do I need for college? You start 4 years before you graduate. I don't know why these schools act like they never saw this before. Like they never heard of it. Sure did. I asked to have the behavior report thrown out, proved all necessary info, and he recommended a formal behavior. Oh, yeah. Good. Done by a BCBA, I hope. Tell those ding-dongs don't play with me. They will be hurt. Good. The behavior, you tell them you want it done by a BCBA, and they are to develop with you an effective treatment plan, intervention plan. Yep. That's good. All right, good. I have a few if you want to see some and what they look like. Good girl. You must be happy. School's starting too. So when you do the transitional planning meeting, you're a part of that meeting, and so is your kid. And so this kid tells the school, well, I want to go to work. Point system, the level system, it's got to have meaning to him. Okay, if it doesn't have any meaning, Christina, it's not going to be worth the paper it's written on. Whatever token system they use, which that is I would say an intervention that's acceptable. But whatever the point system is, it has to have meaning to him. And what you have to do is find out, are the teachers being trained to do this? Because who's monitoring? You need to know who's training the teachers. Okay. You need to know, how does he earn it? It has to be written out. Okay. When they do the intervention plan has to have a definition of what the behavior is for which he's earning the points for. And then, so is he getting, wait a minute. Are they going to use what's called DRA? I think it's DRA. Differential. Oh God, I forgot already. Okay. There's two things that you can do. One is, if he doesn't get it, in order to earn the points, are they doing a give and take? Like if he doesn't do this and they take away something else. Okay. And how is the point system is okay, but it's got to be give and take. So if he only earns points if he does it. Okay. So they're not doing a system where he doesn't get points taken away if he doesn't do it. Sometimes it works better if you have both in there. And then you need to find out who's monitoring the plan, how often is it going to be monitored, and who trained the teacher to do it, or the aide, or whoever's doing it. Yes, that's what they're going to do. Thank you. Who said that? I love you. See the brain dead. That's exact. Differential reinforcement. Thank you. You have to do the give and take. Now, if you don't do the give and take, that's okay. So, but you still have to know, like, how they're going to collect the data. Yeah, I would say both would need to be in there, and I will definitely. Okay, good. So you're going to ask for it's called DRA, and what's the other one? Calo2. Tell me the other one. There's DRA and the DR something. I forgot what it is. But it's give and take. But it's got to be monitored. You got to know who's collecting the data. You got to know how it's collected every week. If it's collected every week, how is it collected? You know, there's a lot of questions to developing an intervention plan. But the first thing that has to be done is they have to identify the target behavior. They have to define it, and they have to make sure. How are they going to make sure that the person that's collecting the data sees? I'm trying to figure out how to say this. DRA and DRI. Oh, I love you. Okay, what's DRI? Differential reinforcement. What's the I? I always forget it. What is it? BIP. Right, it's the BIP. But what's the DRI? They want to wait until 3 weeks so new teacher gets used to Michael. They need to train her. It doesn't. They have to train her how to collect the data. She doesn't need to get used to Michael. Incompatible? No, not DRI. DRI, I don't know. Where's my book? Where did I put my book? Son of a gun. I knew one of you guys were going to do that to me. Oh, I know where it is. I'll get it later. I don't want to. So anyway, the teacher doesn't. What they need to do first is they've already done the FBA, so that means they probably have identified the target behavior. If they identify the target behavior, they need to define it. It needs to say something like this. Anytime, so it says Tyler, it'll say the target behavior. And then it defines it. So it'll say like out of seat behavior, okay? Or talk outs. Let's do talk outs. So it'll say talk outs for the identified behavior. And then it'll say anytime he does this, this, and this. That's when you collect data. Okay? That's a incompatible display. Is that it? Really? Incompatible? Totally escapes me. Anyway, thank you so much. So yeah, what they have to do is tell them you want a copy of the definition of the behavior, the target behavior. You want to know how they identified it. You want to know because usually what you do is you have to determine if whoever is collecting the data. So let's say there's two people. That's called IOA. And what it is two people observing the same behavior. And what they have to do is they have to see the same behavior at the same, they have to be able to see the same behavior. And then at least 80% of the time, given the definition. Because if they don't, then that means that the definition of the behavior, it needs to be cleared up because it's not clear to these people. And data collection is the key. She needs to know, yes, exactly. Exactly. That's what the data sheet is all about. The definition, the intervention plan explains all of this. And it'll tell you it's like one sheet. And it'll say, this is the target behavior, and it'll say the target behavior is talk out. Or the next one could be out of seat behavior. Okay. Anytime he gets up out of his seat to go sharpen his pencil, anytime he keeps dropping stuff on the floor, anytime he does this, this, and this. But when you have two people collecting the data, so let's say it's the teacher and it's the aide, given the definition, in order to make sure that the data is accurate and reflects what he's doing, those two people have to be 80%. at least 80% accurate in how they're collecting the data. Schools don't do none of this, by the way. They don't do it. BCBAs are supposed to do it. I find they're not doing none of that mess. I'm trying to get data right now from 4 BCBAs at a private school, and I can't get nothing. These ding-dongs just told the parent, we don't have to give it to you. Want to bet? Watch. Inter-observer agreement. Thank you. I always forget the old part. Yeah, you have to have at least 2. So you want to ask them who are the observers that are going to do this. And see, all you have to do, Christina, call me up, and I'll give you the info just on that. Because if that's not done right, that one piece right there, the intervention plan that you have isn't worth the paper it's written on. I'm telling you. That was what I had to do for class. For my grade, I had to do that. I had to do an intervention plan. So, yes, needs to be 80% by them. Yes, Calachu's right. At least 80%. It could be higher, but it's like they're taking a test. So Christina, it's like they're watching your kid. One day, I think they watch them together. I think, but they both have the same piece of paper, and it identifies the behavior. It tells you anytime he does this, this, and this, then they have to, that's when they collect the data. So if he does this, there's a check mark. If he doesn't do it, it's a minus. Okay? So it's either plus or minus. That's what it is. Plus or minus. So if he does it, it's a check mark. If he doesn't do it, it's a minus. But see, now you have 2 people doing the same observation on your kid. And they both have the same piece of paper. So that one piece of paper has to be, those 2 things have to match at least 80%. Otherwise, if it's 60%, that means that you want a few things. Those people aren't trained right to collect the data, okay? Or the definition needs to be fixed because they don't understand. And they need to be trained. They need to be trained, okay? Because intervention plans are only as good as the people who are implementing them. And most of the time, it's a public school teacher. I can't even tell you the number of research studies that were done on how valuable it is for teachers to know, to be trained, and to have the support network to implement a plan like this. It makes them feel good. They like it. But those ding-dongs, those administrators of the school, yeah, they don't want to do that. You know why? It costs money. So it's better to just wing it. It's not better because what we're going to have is a kid who's not making any gains because they're stupid. That's the question you have to ask them. It's got to be at least, it depends on the behaviors, and it depends on how the BCBA writes up the intervention plan. But that's a question you ask because they don't collect it. You have to ask that question. Hi, Barbara. You have to ask that question because I'm telling you, there's a whole bunch of kids that I represented that are in private schools right now. And they're not collecting any data. They've modified the behavior support plan 4 times in 4 years. And when we ask them for the data, it doesn't exist. They can't give it to us. But it doesn't matter if it's sporadic. That's the way the data, it can be collected like that. Okay? Whenever they see him doing the behavior, they collect the data. Yeah. And you want the graphs, all of it. You want all of that. And what the school, and see, that's all training. So who's going to do the graphs? Who's going to take the data and then turn it into a graph? The reason why you have the graph is because it's a visual. It's a visual of what your kid's doing. Okay, so when you look at the graph, you can see this is what the baseline was before we did the intervention, and this is what it looks like for this kid when we give him the intervention. So if he's off the chart without the intervention, okay, and then all of a sudden they start doing the intervention and it drops, that's good. They have to provide you with that documentation so you can see that the intervention works. When they do a report, they're supposed to be relying on research. They can't just pull it out of their heinies. They can't just, and there's lots of different things that BCBAs use all the time. And it's based on research. Everything they do has to be based on research. So when you're asking, you tell them, how often are you collecting data? When can I get the data collection sheets? What you really want, though, Christina, you want a monthly meeting, 30 minutes with the BCBA and the people collecting the data. But you also want to know who's training them, who's monitoring the training, how often is the training being, are these people being monitored by a BCBA? Okay. Are they providing support if, if the BCBA finds they're doing it wrong? And then you want monthly meetings. You want to sit down, you want to talk to them, you want all of the data and all of the matching and the graphs that are the result of the graphs. So the data is turned into a graph. Okay, when they collect the data, it's turned into a graph. And it's not that hard to do. Matter of fact, get the data, I'll do the graphs. Takes 10 seconds. It's easy peasy. Okay, it's not that hard. So when they do that, then you have the meeting. Now, there are times where if he keeps showing that it's not working, then they have to modify the plan. Now, a behavior support plan can be modified. As if the BCBA feels that it's not working, because it's not 6 months. You'll know relatively quickly that this isn't working. If the behaviors with the intervention are staying the same as without the intervention, that needs to go bye-bye. You need a new behavior. You need another plan, another intervention. You need to up the ante, something, because that needs to be looked at by a professional. The data needs to be analyzed, and the professional needs to tell you. If there's a problem, you call me. I like to fight because they're stupid. And I like to report people to them. It's fun because I'll take all of that data and all their nonsense and everything they say, and I'll send it to the BACB and have them tell me if what they're doing is okay. You lose your national certification, you cannot practice as a BCBA in any state. States that have a license, you lose your license too. And I don't have any qualms about filing it to BCBA. It costs too much money. It takes way too long to go through all these BCBAs have to go through to throw the baby out with the bathwater. I am sick of it, and I'm tired of it, and I'm not going to let them get away with it. I've told my teacher this. I've told other classmates. I'm not having it. You don't do your job, don't meet me. Because now I know. Everything I thought you were supposed to do, you were supposed to do. You don't do it, I got this. Thank you, Barbara. So, yeah, there's a lot of things you need to know that you should ask for. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It's just a few things you just ask them. And depending on their answer, you just tell them, hey, I know somebody. That's where I got this information from. I know somebody who knows all about this. And then you can tell them, her name is Tammy Joya. She has her master's with a minor in ABA. Tell them to go read the Cooper book. That's all you have to do is say Cooper. They'll know what that is. That's a BCBA's Bible. Oh, Miltonberg. Miltonberger? Yeah. That's right, girl. Calitu, you a BCBA? I love this book. I used to look up all of the regulations online, but when I took the ethics course, by the way, everybody, I got to tell you this. I aced this course. I aced this course. You know why? Because I don't like when people don't do their job. And this was fun. I mean, you know why I aced it? It's common sense. If you're going to school to be a BCBA, this is common sense. Common sense. Consent is everything. It's everywhere. Outstanding. The feds should hire you to kick the state down. Yeah. They're stupid. I don't like stupid people. It costs too much money to go to school to be smart and to come out and still be stupid. If having a job is so important to you that you would throw everything that you went to school for, I love ABA so much. I love it more than I did when I started. People that say they don't like ABA is because they never had it. The school lied to them, told them it was ABA. It was an ABA lookalike. It was like, what do you call them bags? It was like it was a bogus pocketbook, is what it was. So you got a lookalike Louis Vuitton. That's what ABA is. ABA done right by reputable people who care about their profession, who know how important it is for kids to do this, who know what effective treatment is. I'm telling you, I have seen things that you people out there who think you had ABA would make you cry. It would make you cry with tears of joy to see a child do this stuff. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. My thing is, I'm not a BCBA by any stretch of the imagination. And I take my hat off to all of you that go out there and do this every day. Because I'll tell you what, you got a lot of patience. And like I told everybody in my class, I have the patience of a TT fly. And I can't. But I am fierce when it comes to anybody messing with these kids. And now, I know what everybody's duty is. I know what all their roles are. And go ahead, try me. Do me a favor. Go ahead, try me. I don't care. My mother got me this sign. She got it up. She got it in a yard sale. It says, shh, no one cares. I say it all. She bought it because you say that all the time. I do. Shh, nobody cares. They don't care. How many times did I tell you guys? We got to make them care. I am ready to rock and roll. I'm telling you. I'm buying all of the assessments. I'm going to learn all of this stuff. I'm telling you, this is not what an advocate does, what I'm doing. And that's why I'm doing it, because there's not enough advocates that have enough cojones to do what I'm about to do. Don't tell me you gave this kid the AFOs and half of the stuff is missing. This is what the instructions say. I just did one on one kid. I got all of the sheets. Half the answers were empty. This is before I actually bought the set. I went in and read the instructions. There's only a certain amount of times, there's only certain circumstances where you leave it blank. And it's very specific. This kid had holes all over the AFOs. And they think that's okay. Because you know why, guys? Seriously, are you guys buying this book? No, your lawyer's not going to buy the book. 9 times out of 10, your advocate doesn't have it either. If you have an advocate. Do you know, I didn't need anything to buy the AFOs. I needed some money. But to buy the AFOs set, I didn't even need a degree to buy this. Okay? The VB map, I needed to prove that I had a degree. I had a master's degree because on, what's those people called? What are they called? WPS? Thought it was on here, but it's not. It's called WPS Publications. They sell the books. There's Pearson Clinical, and then there's these people, WPS, and they it like Pearson Clinical, you have to prove your credentials. So I had to tell them what school I graduated from, all kind of stuff like that, and then I'm still looking for them. I thought it would be on here, but it's not. This is so friggin' hard. One of the things I said about the VB map is the more you do it, the better you get at it. So that's one of the questions you asked the ding dong that gave your kid this test. How many times have you done this? Who trained you? How do you know how to do it? Yeah. There's training courses for a lot of this stuff too. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, knock off ABA. It makes me mad because behavioral analysis is like a baby in the field of psychology. And it's amazing. It was based off a guy named B.F. Skinner, and it had to do with verbal behavior. And it's amazing what this guy did. He was the first guy to do research on children with autism in 1987. Okay. And he found that given specific strategies, ABA, that these kids could learn. If I could have, I think I've told you guys this before. If I could have, and it wasn't weird, for me to have a favorite disability, it would be autism. One is because it's so unusual and it hits everybody differently. Barbara, that's not my house. You crazy? When do I get a piano? That's a green screen. But anyway, I've been fighting with my whole system to get that had to happen the way it looks right now. So anyway, finally figured it out. Stupid. So autism is a fascinating disability because it affects kids in different ways. It could go from mild to severe. It could go from a kid being highly functioning in one area and not so much in other areas at the same time. And so when you see a program like ABA, a methodology, and you see how it's implemented and you learn about how it gets implemented and what BCBAs have to learn and the training and everything that they have to go through to make this happen, it becomes a part of you. And it's because you're helping people, not just kids, it's adults too. It's all about behavior. And what like a lot of schools don't understand is that everything we do is a behavior. This is a behavior. Talking is a behavior. Writing is a behavior. Counting is a behavior. Going to the bathroom is a behavior. Everything we do is a behavior. As long as it can be observed and measured, it's a behavior. So when the schools say, well, we tested him for the school environment, what the hell does that mean? He's going to be in school when he's 60? He's going to be in your public school system when he's 60. Are you kidding me with that right now? Do you know how stupid that sounds? Every kid in this school every kid, not just kids with disabilities, every kid in a public school is being given an education, allegedly, so that they can go on, leave school, and be as independent as they possibly can be. That's the goal. I don't understand why a school system would limit a child's future by saying things like, yeah, he didn't need a job. Yeah, we didn't teach him how to fill out an application. Do you know now you can't even go into a store to fill out an application? Everything's done online. Raise your hand, everybody. How many of you people who had a transitional assessment done on your 14-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old, or 20-year-old, that they taught your kid how to go online and fill out an application? How many? Yeah. They don't do that. For some strange reason, they don't think this is their job. That's what transition is. All about that kind of stuff. Okay? Because every child isn't nonverbal. Exactly, honey. 0. They don't think that's important to put in an IEP. They've already and that pisses me off. You know why? Because that means that they made a unilateral decision about your kid. How dare they? Who the hell do you think you are? Who told you you could limit my child's future? Who told you you could do that? Who told you you had the right to do that? You shouldn't even be in education when you're doing things like that. And then get pissy because somebody calls you out on it. Oh, you're going to get called out on it. Okay. Several of you. They're getting all this money and oh God, you have no idea. The arguments that I have with hearing officers, Calhoun, it's disgusting. I just chewed out several hearing officers just this summer, just in the last year, about how they're letting school districts file hearings against parents because the parents rejected an IEP. Do you know that there's no law that says the parent can't reject an IEP? If that's not a violation of of IDEA or state law, then the hearing officer doesn't have any relief to give to the school in a hearing. What is she going to say? The school district's IEP is good? Big whoop. You still can't force the parent to accept it. And you still can't say this IEP is going to be accepted, school to parent, because I said so. Bite me. You're going to have a problem with me. I'm so done with that nonsense. These hearing officers drive me completely crazy. They're all in Massachusetts. Well, I shouldn't say that. No, they're everywhere. They're doing that everywhere now. I know. Thank you, Gallatin. I love ABA, and I love advocacy. I love it. I love it. It's the most fun I've ever had. And now that I finally got this set up right, so you guys don't see my disgusting room in the back where all my crap is, okay? I'm going to do this all the time now. And now I don't care what my hair looks like, so I don't have to primp and all that. That's the other problem, guys. You know, going on YouTube is a pain in the neck. You got to look pretty, girl. You got to look presentable. You know, I care about what I look like because, you know, I got to talk to schools and stuff. So I can't just come out, you know, in my pajamas. Though I did do it a couple of times. I don't care. But anyway, hopefully they change things so that our kids are going to school this year. You do? Oh, thank you. Like the grays? It's the new thing, everybody. Okay, I got to talk about my hair. So the new thing is, I've been watching, it's the gray. Everybody wants to go gray now, even because there were a lot of young women that are turning gray, and you know, everybody's always fighting it. And then now everybody's like, I'm done fighting it. My mother has a beautiful, her hair is beautiful. It's gray and silver and it's shiny. It's pretty as hell. And my grandmother, her mother had the same pretty white hair. So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to do it. It'll look real pretty, curls all over the place, and white hair down. Oh, God, I can't wait. But they say it takes 2 years for it to fully come out. So every time you see me, it's going to go back. See, look up here. See, all on the top, it's dark. So I said, that's it. I'm not coloring my hair anymore. I'm done. We'll see what it happens. But anyway, thank you so much. I love it. And it's so hot. I don't know where you guys are. I'm just off the track right now. But it's so hot here. Okay? It's like mind-boggling how hot it is. It's like 90 degrees every other day. Last night it was finally it was like 60 degrees here at night. All my windows were open. I didn't put my air conditioner on. All my windows were open. I had to put my comforter on top of me. I have a white comforter. It's cotton and I love it to death. It's my favorite blanket. I put it on my bed and I went right to sleep. It was like so cuddly. It's a like a down one. So I love it, but it's so hot here. This is the best hairdo I could come up with. And I'm like, I'm done. I don't care nothing about it. I'm old. I'm not going to try to fight it anymore. I'm 62 years old, 62 and a half. So I am, it is what it is. It's all about this. I don't care. I'm good. As long as you guys are good, I'm good. But when I have the bangs and everything and the hair's all over, I get all hot and stuff in my hair, my hands up my hair. But so I don't like it. But anyway. So I'm glad you guys like it. Not that I really care, because this is the way it's going to be anyway. So, I am so glad to be here, you guys. This is my plan. I want to do this at least once a month. I might be doing it more though, because this is so much fun. But I want to do it once a month, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try a new thing. I'm going to try to do videos, 8 to 10 minute videos, and I'm going to upload them. And I'm going to tell you where they are. And you guys go to my YouTube channel. That's where I need to go, because I need to make money, guys. I know that's tacky. But the more money I make on YouTube, the less money I have to charge. I got a very big bill I got to pay. I don't want to pay them back, but I got to. So the more money I can make like on YouTube, the less money I charge you guys. I'm just saying, if you need an assessment done, I'm willing to do it. And I'm telling you right off the rip, I haven't done them before. They look very interesting. I would love to do them. And I'll charge a little bit of money. I don't care. For right now, because I'm a newbie at it, I'm going to come clean. Not like the schools and just do it and act like because I'm a teacher, you know, I just know all of this stuff. 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you right now, I know mine will be better. That's the other thing. So like, okay, let me see if I can find it. There's a test. It's called the Castle. I just want to get the name. So what is it? It's the Comprehensive Assessment of Spoken Language, second edition, right? Okay. I just found out that I can buy it. Now get this. It's online. So when I take all the data, I get all the information from you, right? Then I go on their evaluation system. I input all of the data and it spits out a report for me. So I only have to pay when I put in the report and with the scores. So it's really cool. It's not that hard to do evaluations nowadays, even if you have a master's degree and all of that stuff. But what the schools do is they don't do any of that. Like the AFLs, I actually have 4 kids now for the program that I purchased from the AFLs Foundation or whatever the company. And I have 4 kids. So every time you get a kid, you put them on there. Every time they do the AFLs, you can update it, and I can give the parents the access codes and everything so they can go in and they can look at it, and you can see everything, what's going on with your kid. And so it's really cool. That's the AFLs. The Castle has the same sort of thing, the pragmatic language piece. So what schools do is they say, we're going to give your kid the Castle. Okay. The problem is that kids with autism, they need the pragmatic language piece, and the schools deliberately leave it out. And that's, like I told you earlier, that's about going back and forth and practical language. It's all about, I always get this wrong, so let me just do this. I'm going to give you the definition, because I just can't. Every time I do it, I say it wrong. It's a language delay. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so the pragmatic language is kids that have communication problems. You know, they don't understand language. Okay, it's sort of like a processing disorder, but it's not. So it's language as a whole. They have a delay in it, a general language delay, and they may have trouble understanding the meaning of what others are saying. That's what it says. Okay, that's the best one ever. It's quick, short, and everything, to tell you what it is. And so there's a test for that. Okay, kids with autism, they have a problem with communication. They have a deficit with communication skills. A lot of them, maybe not all, but a good portion of them. They don't understand facial expressions. Communication in of itself, there's a big problem with autism. And it's the one piece that they need to know, that pragmatic language. They need to understand that. So when you get that test done and they leave it out, it's a big, huge piece for a child with autism, okay? Or a child with an intellectual disability. Because if they don't understand language and the meaning of stuff, then they can't respond in a manner that's, appropriate for their age. So if they can't respond as far as a classroom routine or a skill, or following directions and instructions, there's a reason. Okay, they don't understand, and a lot of times teachers get angry because the kid's not doing it, and they say all this stuff. Well, you didn't do the pragmatic assessment, did you? There's the problem. So now I can do it. I do your kid, and it's real cool. I went on and I looked at some of it, and you guys can do it too. You go on, you just type in Castle. Now you can't buy it unless you have a master's degree. I actually have to fill in an application, but it's a normed test. The administrative time is 5 to 10 minutes for each test, and there's 3 different ones. There's wait a minute, let me tell you what it is. Okay, what is the Castle? So the Castle is a comprehensive assessment of spoken language, second edition, authored by yada yada. What is it used for? You can use the Castle to track improvement over time. It can help you answer a variety of referral questions, including eligibility for speech services, placement in special education, determining if a language delay or disorder is present, or measuring language abilities in English language learners. Okay, that's what it does. Now, schools don't do that. They don't do all of the assessments. They only do the ones they want to do, because they want to limit the scope of the assessments to limit the amount of services that they're going to give your kid. That's what it's all about. That's why they do it. But see, now these schools are going to be screwed because when I find out about the assessments, if I can buy it, I'm buying it. And then now I have questions. I have a lot of questions. Like, even if I never I never learn how to use this. The fact that it comes with this book right here, are you kidding me? This is the guide on how to implement this. So I get a school and they say, we did the transitional, please. Oh, you did? Oh, so let's look at what you actually did for a 20-year-old. And then you tell me, okay? You tell me if you ask about his preferences or his interests, okay? You tell me what you did. What about vocational? Because this book right here doesn't answer those kinds of questions. So you didn't do this. So you did not evaluate in all areas of suspected disability. You did not do a transitional assessment. You did the VB map that includes transition, a piece this big. That's like saying you use the VB map for speech and language eval because it has speech in here. So anything that's listed in here, you can say you did it. You just don't have to do it. I hate people. I hate them all. I do. I hate them. So anyway, that's what I'm doing now. My new thing is I'm gathering books. And I like it a lot. And I want to do the assessments. And they're fun. And they can be all done virtually. And any ones that I'm doing them virtually. So I don't have to fly all over the countryside. And the ones that I'm doing, I don't need a license to do. I just need a master's degree. And the company sold it to me. And I have the email to prove it. I got to take the email, print it, and put it someplace so I don't forget where it is. So that's what we're going to do. And so, like I said, even if I didn't do the assessment, the instructions provide me with questions that I know for damn Skippy, the teacher or the special ed director can't answer because they never did the assessment right. And so now they're going to be plucked because they're like, well, how do you know? Well, because, I bought the book. What do you mean you bought the book? I bought the book. I bought the instructions. Here's my report after I kicked it out. Here's your report, and here's my report. How come they look different? You didn't get this particular piece of equipment, software? You didn't get this? It doesn't cost that much. It doesn't cost that much. They're cheap, and they don't want it because if they do it, it's going to show that your kid needs more services than they're willing to provide. As long as you guys don't know, they're going to win. Now they're going to have a problem. Not only do I know the laws backwards and forward, not only do I know case law, not only do I do hearings and mediation, and not only do I file state complaints, now I have a master's in psychology with a specialization in the ABA. And now because of that master's in psychology, I can buy assessments. I couldn't have bought that VB map. I couldn't buy the castle unless I could buy the VB map. I couldn't buy the castle unless I had a master's. Yep. That's what it is. And it had to be in a field like ABA. ABA was actually the one that was listed. So, yes, they are all cray-cray and stupid. To think that we were not going to file for a hearing against the school. Oh, I was always going to file. I was just getting ready, girl. It takes me some time. I want to when I file for a hearing, I'm going for the gusto. So I want to make sure all my ducks are lined up. I want to have all the documentation. Not only do I want their documentation, but I want mine. I want my proof that they didn't do their job. That's called due diligence. I'm not going to a hearing because they did assessments. I'm going to a hearing to prove that they didn't. And I can prove that they didn't because I have questions they can't answer because they're stupid. I don't care nothing about them. I don't care about the hearing officer. I don't care about, hi, girl. I don't care about the hearing officer. I don't care about the school district. I don't care about BCBAs. I don't care about anything but my kid, my client, and sometimes the parent. If the parents get my way, then I get mad. And I get mad at the parents. You've got to be quiet and let me do what I got to do. I understand you have to talk to me, and I do. Sometimes I need to shut up. Sometimes my parents tell me, Terry, shut up and listen to me. Okay. That's happened to me too. But with my parents, it's different because sometimes I get cray-cray behind what they're doing. Matter of fact, one of my clients called me today, and I think it was yesterday, and she said, I'm going to tell you something that happened. Don't get mad. She starts telling me, I start getting mad right away. You took care of this, right? Don't make me get in my car and drive to New York. Don't make me do it. She said, I got this damn. I said, okay. But I get mad. It's this thing with the kids. I can't help it. I don't like it when they take advantage of my parents, and they do because you guys don't know. Why would you know this crap? Why would you know about the AFOs? Why would you know about the castle and it being online? And why would you know that? Your mom. You got a job to do. You got to take care of your kids, your house. You got to go to work. I mean, there's lots of things you got to do. It's not your job to know this. It's their job to know it. It's their job to act in good faith, and they don't. Good. I like to fight. And I don't care if nobody likes it. I like fighting. It's fun. Makes my day. I just cussed out my insurance company. He hung up on me because I told him he was stupid. He's stupid, and I didn't like the way he was talking to me. And I told him, I don't look it. You're not talking to me. You're not listening. You need to be quiet and listen. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you're right. Listen. So then I told him, he hung up on me. So I called right back. I got another guy. He was from down south. He's a Southern gentleman. And then he broke it down. And he told me, because I just had one question. Why did I get this bill when I already paid my bill? Why do you send me not one, but two? Why? The guy says, Tammy, let me tell you why. He told me why. Because the legislatures and everybody got mad because insurance companies were canceling people's insurance and not sending them notices. So a whole bunch of people got mad, and they passed a law that every insurance company in America has to send 14 days before your payment's due. But what? Are you kidding me? 2? I said, we go from one side all the way over here. What is wrong? What's wrong with one letter? Because people are dumb. That's why. People are dumb. So anyhow, this is what we're doing. So I'm going to do a bunch of transitional things, like all the stuff that I talked about tonight. It's a lot. But I'm going to break it down in little videos and like 8 to 10 minutes. And then I'm going to put it out there for you guys. And then you just let me know if you have any questions. Christina, please call me and I will give you the information you need to know about to give them. All right. I'm not telling you what to do. You just need to you need these questions answered, because what they're going to do is, we're going to put them on an intervention plan, and then nobody's going to do anything, and it's going to fall apart. Nobody's monitoring it. There's no data that's collected. There were no meetings, and there were no changes in his behavior because the people that did it didn't know what the hell they were doing. And that in of itself is a bad thing. Okay. You need to know if a BCBA is either doing it or training people to do it. And you need to know who's monitoring it and how often are they monitoring the data collection. Because if the data is not collected right, then the results in the graphs are going to be wrong. Okay, it's going to show that he's making all kind of gains, and the next thing you know, they take him off. As soon as they take him off, they stop the intervention. He goes right back to where he was. Now what? So that's the other thing. There's supposed to be generalization and maintenance. Okay, that's supposed to be included in that too, because you can't just stop. And that's what the schools do. Oh, he's doing fine. We'll just stop. No, you can't do that. There's a way you stop with an intervention plan. There's generalization, and then there's maintenance. So what they have to do is make sure he can generalize that skill he learned across various settings. And they need to make sure that periodically they're going in and making sure that he's still doing it. Okay? That's what you have to do. Hi, Tiffany. I found out the school trying to force our kids with IEPs back in person, or they won't give you any services. They can't do that. Okay, this is how it works. There's a letter, and all you have to do is type this in, okay? Type this in your browser. 07. I'm gonna put it right here, okay? I'll put it in the post. So all you have to do. OSAP, March 21st, 2020. COVID. Okay. Look that letter up. Okay. In that letter, it says exactly what they can and cannot do. They cannot, okay, treat the kids with disabilities or kids with on IEPs one way and treat the rest of the school someplace else. They can't say you either come to school or not. If you have to follow the laws, okay? They can't force your kids with IEPs back in person school, and they can't say they're going to take your things away. First of all, if your state is saying that your kids have to go to school, it's a mandate. Everybody has to go to school, okay? But and if it's like wishy-washy like this, if you guys are on a hybrid model, then you have the right to pick which one, and they can't use that. That's a threat. If they do that, you give them that letter. You say, that's not what this letter says. If you do that, I'm going to report you to OSAP. Then all you have to do is tell me what state they're in, and I'll find out if how often they've been in trouble with OSAP. Okay? But you send that to the special ed director in your town, okay, in your kid's school, your school district, and you CC it to OSAP. Okay? Pain in the ass. CC it to the state special ed director and say, if I need a response to this, what the hell does this mean? Make them put that crap in writing too, Tiffany. They have to actually say it. If your kid doesn't come to school, your kid's not getting any services. You need to say that. Because if they're doing that, they can't do that. Because it appears that your school is on a hybrid model. If it's on the hybrid model, right now, when your kids go back to school, they can't do that. They can't force you when other kids are not doing it every day. Okay? You go read that letter. The letter will tell you more stuff about what the school can and cannot do. If the school's open, the school's open. If the school's on a hybrid, it's on a hybrid. It's not. It's for every kid. They can't take the kids with special needs. That's a violation. You tell them it's a section 504 violation. Okay? They can't treat your kid differently than they're treating the special needs kids. I mean the non-disabled kids. And that's what you just said. The reason why you said that is because that's what you're telling me they're doing. They can't. Go do that. Okay? And then we'll find out what's going on with them because they're cray-cray. I know. It's going to be bad this year because right now it's getting so bad, guys. I just heard a report that everything is going up again. COVID is rising again. And it's because the people that haven't gotten, most of it is the people, I should say that. Most of it is because people who haven't gotten tested, they're getting the variant and it's hurting you. Right now the school is open, but claims you can go virtual, but have to give a good reason why. No, you don't. Here's a good reason, honey. Depending on what state you're in, go look at the stats on the percentage of people that haven't gotten a shot in your state. And you tell them across the nation, kids are getting sick with COVID and the variant, and your kid's not dying. Okay, that's the reason. Given the stats, if you need help, let me know. What if the school is back, but a sped child's parent says he thrives at home, so they want to keep him home? I have a friend in Brookline, and they are serving trouble. You can get your kid on a day program at home. That's not hard. I've done it before, where the school district actually created like a day program for the kid at home. And I'm telling you right now, guys, P-Town, they're just about shut down again. Okay, because of people that from other states that came into P-Town. Okay, they didn't have a shot. They got everybody sick. 256 cases, the last count, of COVID-19. And some of them were kids. So, hold your breath. And anybody that hasn't gotten the shot, please go get the shot, because we're getting people that have got the shot, we're getting sick now. So homebound services, that's right. You can get I told you to get a medical waiver. Yes, I said fine. Yeah. Actually, Michelle, you go on the Department of Education's website, type in special education forms. You'll come to a page, and there's a document. It's called a physician statement. The doctor can fill that out, and there's two ways you can get it. One is for 2 weeks, and the other one is chronic. If your kid has a chronic disability and it's safer for your kid to be at home at this time, I'm telling you guys, use COVID. They're all doing it. They get to use COVID whenever they want. I wish to God some stupid school in Massachusetts would even say a kid can't go to school because of COVID. I can't even tell you how many times they use COVID because they didn't do their evaluations. I can't even tell you. So go get the physician statement and say, due to COVID and the outbreaks and all of that in P-Town, that at this time, don't do it. And school's not in session yet. Come September, let's see where everything is. Don't worry before you have to worry, guys. All right? But you can get homebound services, and you can get a physician statement. You go to your doctor and you tell your doctor, my kid gets sick, I'm coming right back here to sue you. Don't sign the letter. That's what I do. That's right. Because if the doctor can't guarantee that your kid with a shot isn't going to get COVID and get really sick or get the Delta variant, then you tell him to sign the paper. Okay? So get a physician statement. It's in Massachusetts. That physician statement's in Massachusetts on the DOE website. Okay? That's what it's called. Get that signed by the doctor, and it explains everything right in there. Tell the doctor that it needs to say chronic. Okay? It needs to say chronic, and then that way you don't have to it's not on a time frame of 2 weeks. Sometimes kids only need to be out for 2 weeks, but other times, because of a chronic disability, then that's hindering their ability. Like a lot of kids that have social emotional disabilities, like bipolar, schizophrenia, stuff like that, that's chronic. And or if they have yes, I agree with you. I'm still on the fence. Schools, I know. I don't blame. Hey, I hate to tell you guys, it wouldn't be me. My kid would have got the shot. My kid hasn't got the shot. I'm gonna beat him up. I'm beating him up. But he's a grown man, so I can't say nothing. He's 41. But anyway, I was hesitant at first when it first came out, only because, the previous administration, so I didn't trust nobody. But then after a while, yes, constipation is another one. After a while, it is what it is. Millions of, a lot of people have died. And now it's climbing again. We have to make a decision, and we have to stop it. And the thing is, people can come here from other countries, but if we do it, other countries will follow. We need to kill this thing before it kills all of us. This is not good. It's like the Black Plague. And we have to, I know it's hard to trust our politicians, and I got it. I got the tool, what was it? Moderna. But I take care of my mom. She's 82 years old. And so I wanted to make sure that my mom stayed healthy, because I just lost my dad, and I cannot, under any circumstances, begin to think that I'm not going to have my mom. So I got my shot. And then my mom we went together, actually. She took it like a champ. I screamed on the time because it friggin' hurt. That shit went my arm and hurt. But anyway, she said, "Your baby." No, I screamed on the flu shot, not that shot. That went in my arm pretty good. But her and I, the second round, we were down for the count for a whole day. She was at her house, I was at mine, and we were just a hot mess. But my son is only 9. He can't get the shot. Then Tiffany, honey, you have a legitimate reason why your kid can't go back. I wouldn't send my kid back. All you have to do, Tiffany, okay, is go look at the stats in your state, not just in your community, but in your state, because teachers come from all over the place. There's people in and out of schools. All you have to do is go to the doctors and tell them you can't go to school until this shit's taken under control. You can't go to school. And when you get that, doctors know. Okay, you go give it to the school. If the school says anything, you tell me. You tell me. Okay. My information is on my Facebook page. You tell me, and I'm telling you. When I get done with them, I'm pointing to your name. When I get done with them, your kid will be at home getting all of his services. Oh, yes, he will. They got one time. And that's what we're going to tell them. When I get done threatening people, where are you from, Tiffany? Did you tell me that already? What state are you in? They make me sick. I hate all of them. Please tell me you're not in Massachusetts. Are you in Massachusetts, girl? Missouri, okay. Oh, God, they just did a whole thing on Missouri. Yeah, no, Okay, go get the letter from the doctor. Go find out. Make sure you get it all written up. They just did a whole thing on Missouri. It's through the roof over there. They can't do that. And I'm telling you, darling, your kid's not, the way it is right now in Missouri, your kid's not, school's not starting in Missouri. No worries. Okay? Don't worry. All right? Hey, guys. Christine Spencer, I'm in NASA, and we're about to have a meeting for going back. Yeah, you better go listen to MSNBC and go look up some stats. Okay? P-Town is not doing good. The Cape is not doing good right now. And it's funny, I just came from the Cape. I was there for 7 days. That's where I'm from. I'm from Cape Cod, from Wareham. And wow, it changed so much. I haven't been home in years, and I was floored. It was like, what happened to Wareham? But anyway, it's so funny because I just told my mother, we're going to have to start, exactly, I think they should be closed. Yes, they should be. Until all of this is done, because this is ridiculous. We had 1 4th of July. Nobody has a mask. Now everybody's sick again. It's crazy. I don't understand why people just don't. It is what it is. I do understand, and then I don't understand at the same time. Like I said, I'm not taking a chance with my mother. So, and I've threatened my sisters and everything. My sister just came back from Florida, and I said, "You lost your mind. You can't go near your mother. You better go get tested. You're not going nowhere near my mother." It's her mother too. You're not going nowhere. Because she gets sick, I kill you. Kill you dead. She went and got her test. Now she gets to see her mother. I don't care. I don't care nothing about it. Nobody's going to see my mother coming from out of state, because there's too much. Ohio, I think, is the same thing. Massachusetts allegedly is the best state as far as coronavirus. Pennsylvania is not doing too bad either. But people come in and out, and then that's when shit happens. So, yeah, just watch this. Go get the letter from the doctor. It has to be a detailed letter too. You can't just write 3 sentences. I know he's a doctor and all, but tell him, don't make me smack him. Okay, just saying. So, you go do that. You tell him he can't go back to school. I can't even begin. You tell the doctor, I need this letter now, because I need to set up how he's going to get his education. And it's bad because these kids want to go to school. It's funny because, kids never want to go to school, but they want to go to school so bad now. They had the people on in Missouri, and all the kids had masks on. That is not enough. It's sad. This is disgusting. But anyway, okay, guys. I've driven down to meet you just for a second. I know. You know what though, Michelle? It was so. It's like every time I tried to get something done. My aunt said every time you make a plan, you change it. I wasn't changing it. There was 3 people I needed to see. One was my granddaughter. One was an old friend, and another. It was 2 old friends and my granddaughter. The only one I got to see was my granddaughter. Everybody else, I was like, I'm not even trying. No. It was crazy. All we did was go shopping like nuts, and I just wanted to go to the beach. And the first 4 days I was there, it was freezing, and then we came from 90-degree heat. So and I told everybody, this is Massachusetts, you better bring some coats and stuff. We ended up going to the store buying all kind of sweatshirts that says Onset on it, and all kinds of stuff. We went to the new mall over there, and it was chilly the first 4 days, so I couldn't even go to the beach. And then I think I finally got to go to the beach on Thursday. We got there Monday. I finally got to go to the beach on Thursday. It was beautiful out. It was a hazy day, but like there was this cold air coming through the sun, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. The next day it was 90, and I couldn't go to the beach. I had to go meet my friend. I did get to see one, and I went down and I saw her, but I was only there for a short period of time. So, and then we came home Sunday. But we're going back, but it's going to be a short trip. It's going to be a real short trip. So, what I want to do is I'm going to start. I want to see if I can get people in a group and then just do workshops and stuff in person. It would be nice, but right now, I don't trust too many people. And that was the other thing too, Michelle, is like when we were at the Cape, I mean, I'm always conscious of people being around us. And so it was just our group. That's why really I didn't go anywhere, is because it was me, my mother, my sister, and my aunt, and that was it. And we kept our core group together wherever we went. We did stuff, but we were always together, and we made sure we were always out in the open. So it's always taking precautions. So anyway, but I'm going to say goodnight to you guys now, and I'm going to try to do a workshop. Hopefully I'll put together a thing. School's out, so I got time now. I can do my shows. So I'm going to try to start doing my videos, and I'll broadcast them, and I'll give you guys a link. And if you go to my place, you can go and check it out. I'm going to be selling some stuff too, to raise money. To help me and help you guys, that says like you can't teach them if you can't reach them, sweatshirts and stuff and mugs and things like that. So, but when I get that up, you guys will all get to see it and stuff. So I will talk to you. Can we talk tomorrow to catch up? So glad to see you. Sure, no problem, honey. Call me in the afternoon, late afternoon. We're going out for breakfast in the morning with my mother and my sister. So call me later on. Okay. Give me a buzz. Even if it's Sunday, it's okay. Okay? All right, guys. Yeah, I hear COVID sucks. COVID does suck. COVID bites. Okay, guys. We're going to keep it moving, all right? I'm back. I miss you guys so much. I'm so glad to be back. Thank you for giving me your time. And I'll see you soon, okay? You guys all stay safe. Love you all. Bye.